Hello and welcome back to Core Finance. I'm Matt Brown. As ever, it gives me great pleasure to introduce back onto the show Peter Watson from Watson's Wi-Fi. Happy Friday to you, Peter.
Happy Friday, back at you.
What's gone on this week?
Yeah, there's some loads of interesting stuff happened this week. So this was a week where Bitcoin moved a little bit.
Did it?
Yeah, apparently so. Also, Snapchat unveiled a new look as well, but I think that's kind of rearranging deck chairs on the Titanic at the moment. It's got to do something more than that, I think, to sort itself out. And then there's something that I don't think gets loads of coverage, but it's a Japanese chemicals company called Toray. They are the latest Japanese company to fall foul of a sort of data falsification scandal that has so far hit Kobe Steel, Nissan, and Mitsubishi Materials as well. So, I mean, the thing is, I personally think it's kind of mind-boggling in terms of the amount of falsification that's gone on.
Yes.
And this is not just, the diesel emissions, which is, yes, it's bad for the environment and all that. But this is, you're making ships and cars and things like that. So, this is serious stuff. But anyway, so there you go. Sorry, rant over.
No.
Anyway, then the other, in terms of themes, I thought, this week some very interesting stuff on retail, and secondly, things to do with electric modes of transport as well. So, kicking off with retail.
We do have the same shirt.
Oh, we do indeed. Pretty much, yes. We're matching, yeah. Yeah, well, I got your phone call this morning and, we
you
all
got the memo,
yeah, exactly. We sorted it out.
Great mind.
Yeah,
Sorry,
thank you.
on.
Anyway, right, so with retail, so there's ongoing battle between online and offline retailers. There were some quite interesting sort of articles sort of contrasting what is going on in the US versus what is going on in China. So, for instance, in China, you've got offline retailers who are trying to get a piece of the action by rearranging things. So you've got mall operators who are maybe giving less space to retailers and more space to cinemas and restaurants and things like that. I guess things that involve personal experience in order to try to continue footfall to keep coming through. But that's been very good. But other stores that seem to have been doing quite well in China are convenience stores. So you've got Japanese companies like 7-Eleven, Lawson, and Family Mart also doing pretty well, and they are expanding very rapidly. But you've also got, interestingly, toy shops are doing very well as well. So what is particularly interesting, for instance, is Toys R Us, which has gone bankrupt in the States, is actually doing really well in China, and it's planning to open 30 to 40 stores a year for the next few years to add to its current 150.
So Jeffrey and friends aren't out of a job. They're just heading off to China.
Exactly.
Good
exactly.
Stuff.
So that was quite interesting in China, and then in the US, you've got companies like Walmart and Best Buy offering discounts and things that you can only get in store. So that seems to be doing okay. But at the end of the day, I think this is kind of, very minor when you consider the onward march of Amazon. I think it's still going to win. There was a really interesting statistic that I sort of noticed from a company called Slice Intelligence, which sounds quite exciting, doesn't it? It said that over 50% of online products searches start with Amazon. 50%, and now it accounts for 42 cents for every dollar spent online.
Incredible.
That is amazing, isn't it? And that is versus 2 cents to the dollar for Walmart.
But Walmart's actually aren't doing the stock price and everything. They're not actually doing that bad. They're changing.
That's right.
They're looking
changing.
at online, the likes of Argos and everyone have done that. And Walmart, as you rightly say, exclusive deals because they have deals with suppliers that Amazon.
That's right.
Can't at the moment get close to. So
that's right. Yes.
Actually, Walmart may be the phoenix from the flames and actually do okay.
I mean, you would have thought If anyone can do it, they should be able to do it. But at the moment, they're getting their bottoms handed to them. So, but anyway, okay. So other than that, there's some interesting individual bits and pieces on the retail sector. So you've got in Europe, you've got IKEA, which is talking about the experimenting with different formats of shops. So instead of the whole massive place outside the city centre, you go in one end, eat your Swedish meatballs, and then wander around getting lost and accumulating stuff by the end. They're actually making it a city centre thing, so they're doing that.
Where are parents going to go now to have arguments with their children?
I've no idea.
Maybe Walmart or supermarkets.
Exactly. But the interesting thing with IKEA, I think that they've got the money to be able to try these things out. They don't have investors but breathing down their neck as well. So, I mean, they've got a cash pile of something like $16 billion.
Incredible.
So they can do something with it. But I think that they need to do something proper and get a proper plan, rather than mucking around with it, experimenting for too long. But anyway, that's quite interesting. In the UK, there's Booths, the Waitrose, so-called Waitrose of the North, put itself up for sale. So some people are looking at a valuation of between sort of 130 to 150 million pounds. I just think that is symptomatic of trouble in the grocery sector, ongoing trouble in the grocery sector. So that's interesting. Then the last thing on the retail side of things is Palmer and Harvey, which is the wholesaler, going bust. Co-op managed to pick up some of the pieces by moving in there, but that was all about. I think that the approval of the Tesco Booker deal was the nail in the coffin for them, and that was that. So again, more symptoms of trouble in the grocery sectors. So apart from that, there was some exciting stuff about electric modes of transport this week. So we had. This is great. So Shell, they announced a deal with a charger operator called Ionity, which is backed by Ford, BMW, Daimler, and VW, and they provide high-speed charging points. Now these chargers, so that's for 10 countries. These chargers are supposed to give you enough juice within 5 to 8 minutes, which
Incredible.
is about exactly. I mean, it's 3 times as fast as current chargers, and this follows on from their purchase last month of NewMotion, which is Europe's largest electric charging points operator, and that has 80,000 stations. So that's quite interesting. And
would you, as a retailer, want to get into that space? Certainly a greengrocer or maybe a Costa coffee. So if it's taking 7 minutes to charge a car,
absolutely,
people are going to want a coffee or want to buy some groceries.
Absolutely,
or something.
Absolutely. I think that's perfect. And obviously, these over the years we've seen, say, BP garages and Shell garages. They've had these joint ventures with M&S and Costa Coffee and all that kind of stuff. And their own brands, of course. So yes, it's absolutely perfect. And I think that actually that is what they're hoping. That's certainly what they're hoping for, and they can take advantage of. I think so. So that's good. Then we had Tesla's electric truck. They announced orders from DHL and Walmart, amongst others. So early adopters had to put $5,000 down to reserve it, but now they've upped it to $20,000. A fully fledged rig will cost between $150,000 and $200,000, which is actually roughly equivalent to a diesel version, diesel, but the diesel will give you 1,000-mile range, whereas the Tesla will give you 500.
And it's driverless.
Yes. So it's very interesting, but there was some research out earlier on this week from a research agency called some energy consultants called Aurora Energy Research, which said that charging one truck would take the same energy as 4,000 houses. So Tesla they've got this mega charger, which is quite big, this research is saying that it takes the same power. So, There are problems.
Yes.
But then going on to the last thing here is planes. So electric planes is very exciting. So Airbus, Siemens, and Rolls-Royce building a hybrid electric plane by 2020 brings us closer to EasyJet's dream of having flying electric planes within the next 10 years. So that's pretty exciting as well. But again, obviously you've got the whole battery thing, you've got the infrastructure thing, but it's going to have a lot of interesting implications for not only aircraft design, but also the amount of airports you can have. Because if you're, say, taking off and landing via electric, so you're not emitting so much, and it's quieter, you might be able to have airports or more airports closer to population centres. So
that's good news.
It could be.
Hopefully.
So yeah. But there you go. So that was quite interesting. Yeah.
Busy week.
Yes, absolutely. So I guess this is the point where
you embarrass me with a few surprises.
Not at all. So anyway, there was this. There was this statue that was commissioned for Australian school. It was designed in 2D by someone in Vietnam, but they didn't quite realise what the 3D version would look like. And as soon as it was erected, they had to they had to cover it with that and get a local sculptor to try and make it look like something else. So that was rather unfortunate. Some people would be quite surprised by this, including this example. Now, interestingly, this cat that actually looks like that all the time. Right. And has quite a following now, apparently. The guy who bought the cat it was a rescue cat, and so he puts photos, and funnily enough, gets quite a lot of it.
Constantly surprised.
Yes.
Okay. I mean, it looks like that cat should be sat in the middle of a road. To help drivers at night.
Yes, absolutely.
You can tell I'm not a cat person.
Exactly.
There we are.
Exactly. But anyway, so that cat, this very tenuous link, is actually sitting in a house on there, and sometimes we know that it can be difficult to sell houses, and it's all a bit same old. But there was one guy who decided to try and do something a little bit different in order to sell this house. So if we got that up here.
By now you should have somehow realised that it's right for you. And I don't believe that anyone can make you feel the
Make
way
it stop,
you do.
please.
Yes.
Is it his house or is he an estate agent?
He is the estate agent selling the house.
Two things that would definitely go into my room 101. Number one, estate agents, and number two, anything to do with Oasis. So you managed to, and bad singing as guests. I'm okay with Australians, but that is my idea of hell.
Brilliant.
That will repeat on me. I'll have bad dreams for the coming weeks. Thank you for that.
No problem.
I won't get that out of my head.
Okay, good.
Brilliant. Well, on that note, Peter, as always, thank you very much for joining us here on Core Finance.
Thank you.